Hello and welcome to Coffee Break. This month, October, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Almost 1 in 4, 1 in 5 women suffer from domestic violence in America each year, and 1 in 7 men are victims of domestic violence every year in America. Over 12.5 million people each year suffer from stalking or rape or some other sort of violence in America. Joining me today is Erica Schmittdiel. She is with MSU Safe Place, Care Advocacy Coordinator, and thank you so much for joining us to talk about this important issue.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
So one of the myths I think that we probably should first talk about is that domestic violence is physical. It's more than physical. It can be financial, it can be emotional, it can be psychological as well.
Absolutely. It can involve sexual abuse, as you mentioned in the opening. There's a lot of tactics that a person uses over another person in a relationship to keep them in that relationship. And sometimes there is physical abuse and sometimes there's not. And the other tactics are being used.
How does it affect a person over time? Because I know sometimes domestic violence in a relationship, especially psychological, it starts off slowly and then it builds to a point where someone feels like they can't get out.
Right. The abuser is often wearing away the other person's self-esteem, making them believe that they can't survive outside of that relationship, that nobody else will want them, and just telling them various things to keep them trapped in the relationship. And I've had many clients tell me that the psychological abuse for them is worse than the physical abuse. That the physical abuse, the scars heal, but the psychological abuse remains with them, and they're always hearing their abuser's voice in their head saying, you can't make it without me, you're nothing, you're worthless. And that can take a lot for survivors to overcome.
What is when I think about relationships and I think about you fall in love, you have puppy love, and you're dating, and everything's going great. And I'm trying to think of the perspective of the abuser, and what is the motivation, or what is the trigger behind making someone else feel like they have to love you, or that they can't leave you? What is going on in the abuser's mind?
Right. So abusers will often project a lot of confidence, but really they don't have a lot of confidence. They don't have a high self-esteem. So they do feel like they need to have power and control over another person to validate themselves, to make themselves feel more powerful. And it is a difficult mindset to understand for those of us that are not abusive. And can be very entrenched in their belief system that it's okay for them to treat their partner the way that they do. But unfortunately, there are a small percentage of people out there that think that it's okay to use psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial control over another person, and that's what love is to them.
Is there a certain type of person that falls victim to this sort of abuse, to domestic violence, or can it happen to anyone?
Right. We say it's an equal opportunity destroyer. So it's not something that only happens among poor people or people that are uneducated. And we have a shelter and support program on a college campus because we know that domestic violence can happen to somebody who's very well educated, who comes from a quote-unquote good family. And that abuser can also be somebody who's very well educated and comes from a good family. It happens just across the board among any population that you can think of, among any religion, Christians, Muslims, Jews, people that are not religious. It
doesn't
really
discriminate at
does
all.
not discriminate, unfortunately.
Let's talk about MSU Safe Place and what you do. What sort of services are out there for women and men?
Sure. So we serve women, men. We serve individuals who might not identify as women or men. Maybe they're somewhere else on the gender spectrum. Anybody that's being abused by an intimate partner is who we're here to serve. We provide counseling, support group, and advocacy services, and we have a shelter as well. People don't have to stay in our shelter to get support. We have those non-residential services as well. We're here to help people with whatever it is that they need. Maybe they are just looking for some more information about domestic violence and power and control. They're not sure if their relationship is abusive or not. We can sit down with them and talk through that with them and show them the power and control wheel and talk to them about what's a healthy and unhealthy relationship. We, like I said, and then we have, a whole spectrum of services, and we have clients that are in shelter and they're receiving individual counseling, advocacy, and coming to our support group. So it's really whatever people want and whatever they're comfortable with and what they need.
And just because it's called MSU Safe Place, it's not just for MSU students.
Correct, absolutely. So we serve, our primary focus is MSU students, staff, faculty, and their partners. And then as staffing and shelter space allow, we can serve the non-MSU community. And if we are full and we're not able to assist somebody that's not MSU, we will try to get that person the resources that they need. We have our Capital Area Response Effort program in Lansing. They provide advocacy, post-arrest response. They go out after a domestic violence arrest, talk to the victim of the crime. We have EVE, our Lansing Domestic Violence Shelter, that has very similar services to us. We have our Ingham County Prosecutor's Office that has a victim witness unit, can provide court support for people. We have our Personal Protection Order Office. So we're very fortunate in the Ingham County area that we have a number of services for individuals who might need us.
And you're working with EVE or partnering with EVE to bring an event to the community at the Broad Museum.
Yes. Yeah, we're working actually with a number of agencies, the Women's Center of Greater Lansing, the Lansing Police Department, EVE, CARE, I believe Siren Eaton Shelter out in Charlotte is part of it as well, and of course MSU Safe Place. And we are holding a candlelight vigil on Friday, October 21st at the Broad at 6:30 p.m. We'll have a couple of survivors from our Survivor Speakers Bureau to share their stories, and we're looking to empower anybody that might be going through it right now, letting them know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We might not have your exact solution ready to hand to you, but we can help you find your solution, and to honor those who have unfortunately lost their lives to domestic violence.
And so for those who haven't been to this event before, what is the significance of it? What is the message that you hope to get across to the general community?
The message is that we as a community care about survivors of domestic violence, and we want survivors to be safe. We want perpetrators to be held accountable. We know that perpetrators can be loving and caring people and good parents and good friends, good partners at times. And what we really want is for them to get the help they need as well. In addition to the help that we provide survivors in this community, we want perpetrators to get help as well, to see that their behavior is really not only destroying their families, but it's destroying themselves.
A lot of people think that that type of behavior can't be turned around, can it?
It depends on the individual. I believe there are some individuals that really will not change, but I believe there's also people out there that can change, and they just need the help to be able to do that. And our recommendation is that they go through a batter intervention program. We recommend PATS, Prevention and Training Services in Lansing. They have a program that is 6 months long at minimum. Usually 1 year is the recommended amount of time for individuals, and it can help them to really examine their behavior and think about how their behavior is affecting the people around them and affecting themselves. Because as I talked about before, abusive people are generally not happy people. Deep down inside, they may project that they're very successful and very confident and very happy, but if they're spending so much time exerting power and control over another person, they've got some things going on that they need to work out.
How does somebody get a hold of you?
So our program can be reached in a variety of ways. We have our business line, 517-355-1100. We have our noabuse@msu.edu email account. And then if you go to our webpage, which is safeplace.msu.edu, there's a contact us link on that webpage, and people can just click that, and that will put in their information, and that will send us an email as well.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month began in October 1981. In 1987, the first Domestic Violence Awareness Month was observed. And then just last month in September, on September 15th, 2016, the U.S. Senate passed a resolution supporting goals and ideals of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And once again, October 21st is the candlelight vigil at MSU. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks
you
for coming out and talking about this. We are with Millie Hines at Kelly's Consignment, and she is the owner of Essential Bodywear. It is a Michigan-based company.
Yes. It is a Michigan-based, women-owned company, and I'm actually an independent rep with the company, but I've been selling with them, certified bra fitter, for 8 years now. And each October I do something a little special because everybody thinks in October it's breast cancer awareness, and I'm all about the bras because I'm the bra lady.
Right.
But in the month of October, for every bra women purchase, I donate one, and I donate bras to women in our community who've been affected by domestic violence. Because at the same time, like I said, it's breast cancer awareness. It's also Domestic Violence Month, so I like to kind of shed a light on that.
And it sometimes does seem that Domestic Violence Awareness Month is, overshadowed by Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so when you donate bras to women who are survivors of domestic violence, how do you know or who the women are? How do you get in touch with the women?
So, like I said, I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I have fit women in all different types of settings, and we get a little personal during a bra fit. And there are times that we become, very personal with each other and start talking, and women really open up because we provide such a service. The service of a private fit is something that's, you just don't see it anymore. In the department stores, there's nobody doing it, and that's why I just love what I do, because I get to uplift and support women all day long, and it's just amazing. But I get to talk with a lot of women, and I have witnessed some women who have maybe been a little bit more battered up than others, and we get to talking and discovered, wow, that's amazing. We lead such a great, wonderful life, but we don't know what's happening out there. And there's so many women. And then I did have somebody who I was very close with that was affected by domestic violence. And I couldn't believe what it did with her life and how it turned it upside down. And so about 6 years ago, I got this idea of donating bras. And I also collect gently used bras from women in the community, and I do bra fit events all throughout the month. I have, I think, 22 events set up this month alone, but I'm here at Kelly's Consignments every Tuesday in the month of October, and I'm here from like 1 till 6 and able to fit women because 85% of them are wearing the wrong size bra, so we help them get in the right size bra and at the same time able to help other women. And I go into the shelters, and I go into some of the centers that take these women who leave with nothing but the shirt on their backs, and I help them. And a bra does so much for a woman because it really lifts their spirits.
Yeah, you're really helping uplift them in a couple of different ways.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. And so what inspires you to give in this way?
Well, when I got in the business of bras, I really never imagined I'd be a bra lady, but I'm a bra lady. And I wanted to do something where I was helping women. And in, like I said, October, I thought, what a good month. This is a month where everybody's giving back in one way or another, or there's a spotlight on something. So I'm trying to put the spotlight on something that we don't hear enough of. And because we are really all affected by it in one way or another. And I'm sure, you know, once you start talking to people, you hear, oh yeah, my cousin this, or my nephew, or my niece have been involved. And it's just sad when you hear the stories.
How long have you been coming to Kelly's consignments to do this?
For probably about 5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you two
moved
connect?
To all her different locations.
Okay.
Just, I think I met her probably 3 or 4 stores now ago, and I actually said, hey, can I come in and do bra fits here? And so it really is a good thing, because of course women come shopping here a lot. And I'm set up in the beautiful room right in the front of this store, the couture room. I love it. And women come in here. Sometimes I have appointments, and sometimes they just walk in and I help them, and they're so happy because they walk out very perky.
It is one of the hardest items to shop for.
It is.
So I can imagine having somebody to help fit you, and you know, a proper fitting bra is very uplifting.
Right.
And so Millie, I want to thank you so much for
you.
talking about what you do and your cause, and the ability that you have to give back to other women and to uplift their spirits.
Thanks. It feels great. I love it. We kind of describe, I say I love what I do because I uplift and support women all day, but in so many more ways than I ever imagined. So it is great.
Thank you. And we will be back right after this brief break, and we'll be talking more about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. During Domestic Violence Awareness Month, the National Network to End Domestic Violence has suggested that people do things during National Awareness Week. On Sunday, October 16th, they are encouraging people to join the conversation and use the NNEDV's talking points to start conversations about domestic violence with friends, family members, neighbors, or colleagues. Though 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, many are silent. And they are encouraging people to talk about abuse with friends, family, and coworkers the entire week, and especially on this day as they kick off this week of awareness. On Monday, October 17th, they're encouraging people to download the new NNEDV Tech Savvy Safety app or share NNEDV's 31 and 31 campaign on social media using #31, the letter N, 31. On Tuesday, October 18th, join NNEDV's bilingual English and Spanish Twitter chat from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A list of partnering agencies can be found on the National Network to End Domestic Violence website. On Wednesday, October 19th, you can sign in to NNEDV's Action Alert or write a letter to the editor using one of their templates. On Thursday, October 20th, you can go for Purple Thursday. Help paint the town purple by wearing or displaying purple to raise awareness, show your solidarity with survivors and their families, and take a stand against domestic violence. Use the hashtag Purple Thursday and share why you are going purple. On Friday, October 21st, it's Film Friday. Hosted DV Movie Night. Check out their Pinterest board for movie ideas and use NNEDV's Movie Night Conversation Guide to talk about the themes from the film. And lastly, on Saturday, October 26th, they are encouraging people to shout out, celebrate the people you admire who speak out for survivors and use their voices to make a difference. Thank you for watching this episode of Coffee Break. I'm Deborah Guthrie.